We all know someone, a friend, relative, or even our own family na nag-turn yung buhay niya upside down because of medical emergencies. Yung biglang na-confine sa hospital, then suddenly lahat ng ipon nila, child's education, retirement plan, or kahit yung pagpapatakbo ng negosyo nila, lahat yon naging at risk because of that. Ito yung harsh reality na kinaharap ng common Filipinos pagdating sa kapag sila ay na-hospital. So ang aim natin ngayon is to move beyond the problem and see a particular financial solution para sa problema na yun. So magdi-deconstruct tayo ng isang modern health protection which is AXA Healthcare Access. And using that, we will create a case study. Now that I'm recording this, it's 2025 and I think it will be relevant for the next years pa rin. But I identified 3 core problems pagdating sa mga ganitong problema. First is the medical inflation. Ang ibig sabihin ng medical inflation is yung power ng pera mo to purchase something. Yun yung inflation, di ba? Now, ang healthcare system natin ay mas nagiging mahal pa siya ng mas mabilis sa standard inflation. So, if you're thinking about 1,000 pesos, kung sa ordinary inflation yan, alam mo na yung 1,000 pesos mo mas konti na yung nabibili ngayon kumpara dati. Ngayon, tingnan mo pag healthcare pa yung pinag-uusapan. Almost walang bill sa hospital na 1,000 pesos lang. Mas konti talaga kasi nagiging mahal lahat services ng doctor, medication, lahat. So we call it medical inflation. At lahat tayo kinakaharap yan. Number 2, out-of-pocket na expenses. Ang common Filipino, ang nagiging strategy niya kapag siya ay nagkakasakit is naghahagilap ng pera pambayad ng hospital. So here in Metro Manila, let's just say makonfine ka na 5 araw because of, for example, dengue. Ang nangyayari talaga is during that time ka na maghahagilap ng pera because not everyone could shell out 150,000. Hindi lahat ng tao ganyan kalaking savings. So, dyan ang gagaling yung mangutang muna, hingi ng tulong sa government, sa mga kamag-anak, etc. So, yun yung second problem na nakikita ko. And third problem is yung financial risk ng savings mo. Now, maswerte na itong ilang mga tao na ito may savings sila. Pero, yung savings nila, hindi naman allotted talaga for medical emergencies such as that. Pwedeng nagpaplano sila na magpakasal kaya sila nagpa-fund up, meron silang gustong bilhin na bahay, na cellphone, or magta-travel dapat sila. Lahat yun apektado because nagkaroon ng medical emergency. So these 3 problems, kailangan masolusyonan. So ngayon, ang objective dapat ng isang tao para ma-defeat or magkaroon siya ng defense is first, magkaroon siya ng adequate na financing system para matapatan yung medical inflation. Second is, magkaroon siya ng financial safety net para yung ganun kalaking pera, hindi niya kailangan maghagilap kung saan-saan. Pangatlo, maprotektahan yung savings niya. Kasi we would like na mapunta yung pera sa intended natin na purpose. Contrary dun sa idea na ang mga medical expenses should be from the emergency fund lang. It's not like that. Ang emergency fund is basically to help you pag may nagkaroon ka ng minor setbacks in life. Bigla kang hindi nakapagtrabaho, mas kulang yung pera mo kasi kulang yung sinahod mo, so gagamitin mo yung ilan sa emergency fund mo. Biglang nanghiram yung kapatid mo and very important yung kinaharap niya, dun mo kinukuha yung emergency fund. Mas mahal yung mga naging bilihin, may delay ng sahod, then yung mga common setbacks na sinasagot ng emergency fund. Pero if we are talking medical emergencies, lalo na pag critical illness yan, catastrophic yung effect niya sa finances natin. So contrary to most of the people na thinking nila emergency fund is enough, no, dapat may health fund ka pa. So yun yung mga objective natin. Kailangan tayo magkaroon ng mga ganon. So this is a case analysis study about healthcare access. Now, why healthcare access? It's because I'm affiliated with AXA. And bala ko talagang isa-isahin yung mga products namin because these are the products that I could sell. But you don't need to buy from me. Just see kung yung core problem na binanggit ko kanina and yung objective na gusto nating maabot ay nai-address ng product namin. We call it HCA sa company namin. Merong 3 pillars of benefits sa HCA. Pillar 1 is it's a comprehensive medical coverage. So it is like a high-class HMO that will give you inpatient coverage. Ibig sabihin pag na-confine ka, yung bill mo sa professional fee ng doctor, sa mga procedures na ginawa, medication, lab test, nang nandun ka, nasa hospital ka, sagot ng card na yun. Outpatient. Hindi mo naman kailangan ma-confine pero kailangan mo daw magpa-lab test or magpapakonsult ka, sagot ng card na yon. Yung most crucial, emergency. Yung hindi kailangan critical illness yung sakit mo. Sumakit lang yung tiyan mo, kailangan mo pa-emergency, sumakit yung puson mo, sumakit yung, o kunyari nakagat ka ng aso, mga emergency situation na kailangan mo ng tending ng hospital, you could use that card. So, yun yung main na benefit niya, na hindi ka maglalabas ng pera. Ang gagawin niya is, may limit na ibibigay sa'yo, yun yung sasagot. So, tatanggalin niya yung financial na pressure kasi hindi mo kailangan maglabas ng pera, cashless transaction, yung card na yung magbabayad. So, yun yung pinaka main benefit ng healthcare access. Now, the second pillar of benefit is meron siyang life insurance at accident insurance. So, ibig sabihin, let's just say, ginamit mo yung card, nagpagamot ka, but at the end, na-deaths ka. May cash benefit na matatanggap yung family and beneficiaries mo. Plus, meron siyang accident insurance. So, ibig sabihin, kapag na-aksidente ka, in insurance world, ang ibig sabihin ng accident dito is total and permanent na accident. Yung natanggal sa'yo na portion ng katawan mo, na-damage na portion ng katawan mo, hindi nagagaling. Total bale, tapos permanent na siya, hindi siya gagaling after some time. Hindi kagaya pagka naputol yung buto mo, di ba gagaling pa siya after several years or several months. It is not included sa cash benefit na matatanggap. Included siya dun sa card, sa pillar 1 na sinasabi ko, pero wala siyang cash benefit. Pero if ever man kunyari na-damage yung mata mo, hindi na daw siya gagaling, naputol yung paa mo, makakatanggap ka ng cash benefit. Yun yung second pillar. Hindi yan present sa normal na HMO. Now, yung third pillar is very innovative, which is bibigyan ka niya ng longevity fund. Di ba ang common pag nagbabayad ka ng mga health card? Bayad ka ngayong taon, covered ka namin yung taon. Next year, bayad ka ulit, covered ka namin ulit. Ngayon, dito sa healthcare access, kaya mo yung i-renew hanggang age 75. At age 76, hindi mo na siya ma-renew. Pero, bibigyan ka namin ng cash benefit para meron ka pa ring health fund kahit hindi ka na nakakapag-renew sa amin. So, yun yung 3 pillars of benefit. And if you could see, yung 3 pillars na to could already address the core problem. Na-meet na niya yung objective natin. Now, let me answer some of the frequently asked questions about this product. Question number 1, worth it pa bang kumuha ng healthcare access? Hindi ba pwedeng magtayo na lang ako ng sariling health fund ko sa bangko? Separated na intended ko talaga for health purposes. This is a common, parang classic question, classic concept ng cost-benefit analysis. Here's my explanation to that. Let's just say you do have 50,000 na kaya mong ihulog dun sa health fund na sinasabi mo taon-taon, lalagyan mo yan. So next year, magiging 100,000 na, magiging 150,000 na after next year. Pero nasa bangko siya. Now, ang advantage niyan is liquid yung pera. Ibig sabihin, pwede mong withdrawin anytime. Kahit na hindi medical emergency, pwede mong gamitin yung pera na yon. Ang wala lang doon, kung ganun at ganun yung gagawin mo, is the concept of leverage. So let's just say nagkaroon ka ng hospital bill na 150,000 sa first year pa lang. Ang pera mo lang is 50,000. Nandun pa rin yung problem. Yung 100,000, hagilapin mo pa rin yan kung saan man. But if you are going to purchase healthcare access, it can give you like 2 million annual benefit limit. So pag nagkaroon ka ng sickness and the worth is 150,000, you still have coverage of 1,850,000 left para sa taon na yon. Yun yung concept ng leverage. Now, you decide, is it worth it pa? But for me, as an advisor and a financial planner, I think it's financial efficiency. Question number 2, meron na akong HMO do I still need the healthcare access? Now, 2 concepts, portability, sufficiency. When you say portability, kasi pag ikaw ay tumanggap ng HMO, yes, magandang employee benefit to. Pero once na umalis ka sa company na yon, pwedeng lumipat ka ng ibang company, nag-resign ka, nag-retire, mawawala yung benefit na yon. Kasi benefit lang naman of you working in that company. So let's just say, plano mo mag-retire age 45, wala na yung benefit na yon. So that's what you call portability na ina-answer ni healthcare access kasi individual plan to eh. So as long as you renew, meron kang coverage kahit saan ka pa nag-work. Second is sufficiency. Kung meron kang HMO, reviewin mo kung ano yung benefit yan. Baka mamaya ang benefit yan is 50,000 lang, 100,000 lang, 150,000 lang. Yun yung common na nakikita ko eh. Diba? Pero ang medical inflation ngayon, ma-hospital ka ng 15 days, kulang na kagad yun eh. So, si healthcare access, mas mataas yung mga benefit limit niya. You do have option pa na itaas siya. So, yun yung difference. It's up to you kung gusto mo pang kumuha ng healthcare access or hindi. Because this is about security account. Pinapatibay natin siya. Question number 3. Ano bang mga coverage yan? Tsaka may mga limitation ba yan? That's a good question. So let me show you kung ano ang mga benefits niya. If you are looking at the feature, makikita mo na meron kang option to purchase the 500,000 annual benefit limit, 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, and 5 million. Siyempre, depende sa bibilin mo yung presyo niya. Mas mahal yung 5 million na annual benefit limit. Pag sinabi natin annual benefit limit, yan yung hanggang dyan ka namin kayang i-cover. Hindi kami naglalagay ng per sickness. Any type of sickness, critical man yan or hindi, kaya ka namin babayaran yan ng card mo. Inpatient, yun yung mga gastos mo sa doctor, sa mismong medication mo, sa procedures na ginawa sa'yo nung naka-confine ka. Next is the room and board category. So, ibig sabihin, depende sa tier na binili mo, meron kang specific room. Doon ka ilalagay. So, may 4,500, may 6,500, may 15,000. Depende sa tier na binili mo. Let's just say, pumunta ka sa isang hospital. Alam niyo yung mga room kung saan kayo naka-confine? May presyo yun per night. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag napunta ka sa isang hospital, let's just say 10,000 ang kanyang room per night. Tapos, ang binili mo lang sa amin is plan 1 million. So, up to 4,500 lang. So, sasagutin namin yung first 4,500, yung 6,500 is shell out mo na. So, may limit kami pagdating sa room and board. Hindi siya hanggang annual benefit limit. Emergency care treatment, ayan, annual benefit limit. Yan, pasok yan dun sa buo mong coverage. Now, outpatient care, yan, hiwalay yan na benefit. So, the higher the tier, mas malaki outpatient. Labs and consultation lang din naman yan eh. Okay, so, ganyan lang yung limit. Annual physical exam. This is the benefit that you could use your card for kahit hindi kayo magkasakit. In order for you to check yourself kung kayo ay healthy taon-taon at ma-prevent yung mga sicknesses, mabigyan kayo ng advice ng doctor, use the annual physical exam yearly. Next, dental care. So, ibig sabihin yung pagpapalinis ng ngipin, pagpapabunot, pasta, yan, ako-cover yan. Kasama yan dun sa card ninyo. And we could modify pa the card. Pwede namin dagdagan yan ng additional benefit like critical illness and then optical benefit. So, once you talk to an AXA financial advisor, madidiscuss niya yan sa'yo. But these are the basic na laman nung card mo as a benefit. On top pa ito nung discuss ko kanina, yung life and accident insurance at longevity health fund. Yun yung pillar 2 and pillar 3 kanina. Now that you know the benefit, look naman tayo dun sa mga limitations na tinatanong mo rin. So, itong mga tao na mayroong ganitong condition could still apply healthcare access. Hindi sila i-deny, pero may waiting period yung sickness nila. And expect na upon application, AXA will ask additional documents. Pwedeng resulta ng latest annual physical exam mo or kung nagkasakit ka, yung discharge notice na nung doctor, tsaka kung ano nangyari, yung medical history, etc. Hingin nila lahat yan, ipagpa-lab test ka pa nila. Kasi we would like na yung nag-apply sa amin, nakadeclare lahat ng sickness nila. May additional requirements niya, pwedeng questionnaire yan for the doctor, questionnaire para sa'yo. Pero, hindi ka decline, pwede ka pa mag-apply. And these conditions, meron silang waiting period. Ano ibig sabihin ng waiting period? Ibig sabihin, i-cover ka namin sa ibang sakit. Pero dito sa sakit na to, tsaka yung related illness sa mga to, yung first year or first 12 months, hindi mo na namin i-cover. But the next year, nagrenyo ka, cover na namin siya. Now, this naman are the sicknesses or mga illness na hindi namin i-cover. Ibig sabihin, upon application, di-deny na namin yung application mo. You cannot proceed. Mga high risk to ng sakit. Question number 4. Magkano naman yan? Here are the premium that you need to pay in order for you to get the coverage. So, by age ko yan nilagay, tsaka by gender, para makita niyo by 5 years na lang kasi hindi magkakasya sa presentation. But if you're going to look at this, merong presyo, pang lalaki to male, sa 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, and 5 million. Mapapansin nyo rin na ang premium ng bata ay mas mahal. Ang pinakamura is nasa age 25 to 30. Kasi ito yung parang pinaka-healthy na age ng isang tao. Makikita nyo rin dito na hanggang age 60 lang. Because the issue age, ibig sabihin pwede ka mag-apply from 0 age hanggang 60 years old lang. Beyond that, you cannot apply anymore for healthcare access. Okay, linawin lang natin yon. Now, for girls naman, for female, ito naman yung prices. You could just take a screenshot of it. Now, if you're going to look at the prices, kung pagpalagay natin ang edad mo ay 38, look between 35 and 40 na lang. Malamang nandiyan lang din sa gitna yung presyo mo. At least you could have an estimate. The exact price that you need to pay, malalaman mo yan kapag nag-apply ka na sa plan na to. Question number 5. Ang mahal naman, meron mo kayong flexible payment. If ever man mahal sa inyo yung annual na premium, you could select mode of payment, semi-annual, tsaka quarterly. It's just that pag quarterly payment, you will be needing additional document like auto-debit arrangement from a bank or parang enrollment of your credit card. It's because we need to assure that you consistently pay for your policy para lagi siyang effective. Don't expect na yung presyo ng annual, i-divide mo lang by 4 or i-divide mo lang by 2 to get the premium. Meron siyang additional charge because yung mode of payment mo is not annual. Kasi discounted price na yun yung annual. So pagpalagay natin na sinemi-annual mo siya, instead of divided by 2, may konti pang additional yun, mas malang konti. Lalo na yung quarterly. So at least alam mo na meron siyang choice na pwede ko palang i-quarterly or is semi-annual. Wala kaming monthly. Question number 6. What will happen pag nakamiss ako ng payment? Now, we do have the concept of grace period. Upon the due date, you will be given 30 days for you to settle the account. During the 30 days, you're still covered by your card. Pero pag lumampas na doon, tapos doon ka nagkasakit, you cannot just ask AXA na, uy, i-cover nyo na ako, babayaran ko na yung pati mga na-miss ko. It's not like that. 30 days lang yung grace period. Question number 7, how about the claim process? Baka naman sobrang hirap. Now, sa claim process, madali lang naman. We do have application kasi sa cellphone and we do have contact details for hotline, email, messaging, cellphone. Lahat yan magkaka-access ka kapag may healthcare access ka na card. It's because you are a legit customer na ni AXA. So, meron namang nag-a-assist talaga sa inyo. And you could ask help from your financial advisor din. Kaya, madali lang. So, yung claim, minsan ang hihingi yan ng mga requirements. For example, outpatient. So, you need to call first the hospital kung kailan yung schedule ng accredited doctor, ganyan. Tapos, ngayon, hihingi ka lang ng letter of guarantee or letter of authority from the app. And then, papakita mo na lang yon para wala ka nang babayaran. Minsan, naging reimbursement system siya pagka, kunyari, binayaran mo. Tapos, i-claim mo na lang kay AXA kasi hindi mo naasikaso. Now, sa inpatient naman, meron namang designated office sa mga hospital sa nag-aasikaso ng card. So, sila na mismo yung nag-aasikaso nun. So, depende kasi, but you will receive a manual kung paano gamitin yung claim. Ngayon, ang common lang talaga na nagiging concern ng mga tao is, baka mami, hindi naman nagbibigay ng claim yan. For the record, binibigay ni AXA yung claim kung ikaw naman ay enforce naman yung policy mo. The most common scenario na nagre-reklamo na hindi nakakuha ng claim, it's because nagkaroon ng problema. Kasi nung time na nanghihingi sila ng claim, na-discover na may pre-existing condition sila. So, ano yung pre-existing condition? Yun yung mga may sakit ka na nung nag-apply ka pero hindi mo din-declare kay advisor. Pero remember, during the time of claim, may mga insurance investigator to see kung ano yung lagay mo. For example, you said wala kang sakit. Pero nung nakita ng insurance investigator, nung claims, yung mismong medical history mo, that your sickness has been existing prior to the application, may karapatan si AXA na tanggihan ka. Because if ever man alam namin yun, bago pa tayo nagpirmahan, hindi ka na namin dapat tinanggap. Yun yung most common. Pag may nakita akong reklamo, yun talaga yung una kong tinatanong na situation. Pag may nakita akong post, it's because may problema dun sa insurance application. Or, hindi niya ma-provide yung mga documents. Like for example, diagnosis of doctor, yung mismong proof na ikaw ay na-inpatient talaga. Yun naman yung mga common na hinihingi. Okay, but definitely, yung lahat ng claim, madali lang siyang i-process kasi you could just email it or send a Viber or you could just send it on the app itself to get the claim. And sabi ko kasi pag inpatient yan, meron naman nag-aasikaso sa hospital. Okay, those are the frequently asked questions about the product. Of course, if ever man meron pang other question, it will be answered by your financial advisor. I am not saying that this is the best product because even in AXA, we do have alternative products pa if hindi mo gusto yung healthcare access. So the best way for you to determine is, aside from your own research, don't just ask for a proposal. Ask your financial advisor to meet with you one-on-one. Address all your questions kasi sasagutin niya lahat yon. Plus, titignan niya kung yun talaga yung best sa'yo. At least, magbibigay siya ng mga options for you para naiintindihan mo lahat. To avoid also na at the end, magsisika na yung binabayaran mo pala, hindi pala yun yung pinakakailangan mo. If you don't have financial advisor yet, I'm going to post my email address, way to contact me. I'll be gladly be of service if ever you're interested. But nevertheless, regardless of the solution that you will be selecting, pwedeng ito, pwedeng other product, pwedeng from other insurance company or other way, kaya magpatayo ka ng sarili mong hospital, it's fine. But we cannot deny that every one of us are facing the problems na sinabi ko kanina. And pare-parehas lang din natin na gusto ma-achieve yung objective. Because at the end of the day, if you are on your journey to financial freedom, having a strong security account, most particularly having insurance, is one of the key para ma-achieve mo yung gusto mong financial abundance. Thank you for watching.